internet world, grace, peace, mercy, and favor from me to you. Um, wow. 30% of you will click off within 10 seconds of watching this video. For everyone who watches it thoroughly through and follows onto the link, God bless you. For anyone who has supported me in any way, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about the people who watch the videos, click like on the videos, the ones who don't click like, just anyone who's engaged in any way with everything that I have been doing the last 6 months. Um, I can't wait to talk to you guys to see your point of view and perspective on things. This 6 month uh, journey. If you don't know me and if you've never met me, you, like I said, you've already clicked off. If you are interested from what you've seen and what you see all the time, understand that everything that I have been trying to do in the last 6 months, I've been trying to do for 17 years. Let me say that one more time. Everything, everything that I've been doing and accomplished and will continue to do even past this 6 month, which is this community service lifestyle and approach. Um, I wanted to do when I was 14 years old. I just had to build myself and go through a process, and every process takes time. And there's stages to each process. And as a 14-year-old, you can't expect much, or back then you couldn't expect much of a 14-year-old. But then, you know, kids were just kids. Nowadays, kids are retiring kids. And I want to first start by saying, you know, God has to be first. I've tried to accomplish all this stuff many times and burnt myself out. Let me be real with you, I've had more than 6 mental breakdowns, um, like official, like literally breakdown. You're emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted, intellectually exhausted, spiritually exhausted. You break down, and you either sleep yourself, fall into depression. That's typically what it was. After being shot, I had to check myself into a facility, which obviously the being shot added more trauma to what else was, not being addressed. Um, but what I'm saying is basically I've gone through a extreme process just to be standing here. The being shot is that's huge, but man, the story and stories before that, just to get even to that position to be shot, is grand. And what I've always wanted to do is share my stories, my success, my knowledge, my skills, my talents, and then put it into some type of form. As a child, I the Bowflex guy. Basically, my concept when I was gifted this vision, right? I was like, all right, so I'm gonna be literally a household brand. I'm gonna be like the Bowflex guy because I was teaching dance. So I was like, all right, so my ministry is gonna be just dance, whatever, and music. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna have my CDs is gonna be everywhere. And my process obviously didn't turn out to be that way. For the over the course of my adolescence, from being very gifted as a child musically and engineering wise, I was blessed in being able to start my entrepreneur journey very, 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 very early. That's why a lot of people hate on me, is because I started my process earlier than them, and I'm a lot further. And I'm not taking shots. I'm explaining. Um, you can't be upset about someone who's further than you because you don't know, like I just told you, their story and their process to get to where they're at. People don't just get to level 5 and not go through all the steps. If they did, they will be knocked down guaranteed because they don't have the capacity. So basically, I went from stage to stage to stage, and um, I've been dedicated to my process. And like I told you, from mental breakdowns to relationships that were basically at one point building me up to just be disassembled through different reasons, to just I've always invested into my career, whether it be music, whether it be my companies and ideas and things of that nature. And then I've always struggled with drinking and smoking, and that's what everyone smokes, either cigarettes or weed or something. I don't have no issues with whatever how you handle your business, but for me, and what I know from a physical standpoint, liquor serves really no purpose. you know um you can go on this tangent, wine and all this stuff's cool, great, whatever. I'm not here to talk about liquor and wine, but for me, and what I know about what alcohol does to the mind, right? I knew that at some point I was going to have to give it up. And almost 11 months ago, guys, stop. Almost 11 months ago, I quit alcohol. That was one of the first parts of my transformation process. All the other process before last year, 2020, actually, well, excuse me, all of the basically 2015, everything before 2015 was just the fundamental stages of my process. And I can go elaborate. That will be on other stuff. You're gonna see me on YouTube, podcasts. Get used to me. And I started the transformation process in 2015, basically by giving my life to Christ, and then just being catapulted, pulled in the direction where I was led. And but last year things really kicked off when I lost my grandfather on my dad's side and my grandmother on my mom's side, and it was like, man, in the middle of rebranding myself, my company, moving to a new state, city, everything, all it was overwhelming, man, overwhelming. I had two of the two of the mental breakdowns was last year. Like I wanted to die, dude. Like I was, you know, and I broke through. I broke through depression many times. I've been healing people since like a child with dancing and things of that nature. So I understand, depression. And I understand it a lot now. But as a child, I began to understand the power of music and uh, connectivity with people, dealing with people, social, basically socializing. And As the transformation process began to catapult last year, I made a decision. All right, quit alcohol. Um, I had already started playing with my diet as far as I'm a pescatarian, 90% pescatarian. I still eat some chicken here and there. Um, but the next thing that I did, so it was basically alcohol, diet, and then I kicked in what I used to get out of depression in the past. Because to be honest, I've broken out of depressive states, and major depression, at least 4 or 5 times in my life. And basically, what I did was, so I got the alcohol out, I got my insides right. And what I did was basically, why I'm not trying to be cocky, but why I look, really good, like muscle definition, is because I cut back the amount of food that I was eating. Because last year and all those other years, it was just, yeah, make money, you just eat, right? Because you're depressed, that's what you do. And serotonin, is produced. A lot of that is produced in your gut, and I can't go on a tangent. We'll be here all day. But I started doing more research and said, okay, all right, so all right, okay, all right. So I said, all right, alcohol, that's gonna help my mind. It's also gonna help my body, right? Then I said, all right, the diet's gonna help my body, and it's also gonna help my emotional state, my mental state. And then what I did was is like I was trying to say is I started I do a lot of listen to a lot of ministry from TD Jakes, um, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Bill Winston, Kenneth Copeland, um, those just to name a few. In those orders is how they're important to me. TD Jakes, listen to him. And basically what I did was in the past you live with people, so you can't really I lived, live with either girlfriend, my mom, or someone, so I couldn't really develop myself the way I wanted to. So coming out here was just isolation, which isolation can either kill you or you can incubate yourself in that isolation and turn yourself into something, which I did. And I submerged myself, long story short, with audio, still do. Look at my photos. Why do I always have headphones? Submerging myself. And with that being said, I literally transformed my belief system and my perspective on everything. Because it's my override. Your mind's a computer. My mind is definitely a computer. Boy, oh boy. The fastest computer out there. Okay, I'm gonna let you know this is a shot. You cannot keep up with me. Join me, but through the Holy Spirit and through my dedication, man, this mind right here is impeccable. I don't. And I say that because I don't compete with anyone. I do what I do for the purposes and the causes. So if you come at me with any type of competition, just know that I do it for serious causes and serious purposes that your little competition ain't got nothing to do. This is for my family. This is for generational wealth. This is for the development of people in general. Sorry, I'm watching my dog. Uh, but once I overrode the system, I realized, okay, this is the formula. I didn't use the override before. I use everything else, the dancing and the praying, and then boom. I overrode that system, and it was heavily with obviously reading the Word of God. And I didn't have the Bible at the time. I was just listening, listening, listening. But I listened to hours and hours and hours. Basically, I listened to at least about at this point, I listened to at least about 4 to 6 hours of something um, playing a day, mandatory as in ministry or motivational personal development, right? 4 to 6 hours a day. Like if in the other hours is music, and in the other hours obviously it's quiet time and everything else. But I put together a formula and built this brand, and it was just, well, not this one, but it was just a T-shirt with something that was meant dear to me, and a loading symbol that basically represents how far I was in my process when I was about to give up at 60%, right? My bucket list. Currently, I'm at 80. And if you know anything about computers and games, it takes a while for it to buffer, and then it gets to like, 60, 70, and then it stalls for like whatever, and then it shoots up. And that is what my process is, what you've witnessed. Um, and little Derek always wanted to go overseas and do a mission for 6 months. I can ask friends and people, and I'm sure they would be like, yeah, use 6 months, Bill, because I'm very adamant about timing and things of that nature. Um, and as of today, man, I found a process that has helped a large amount of people in many states at this point. But in my core states, Florida, Boston, and Washington now. Um, and the brand No Excuses is in 11 states and over 20 cities. It's been in more states and other cities through traveling, but people are in those states wearing my brand currently, and that's a major accomplishment for any brand standpoint. Um, Doing a 6 month mission trip was something that probably wouldn't have ever happened anytime soon due to a couple of circumstances. And I said, you know what? No excuses. I'm gonna hustle, different items, posters, pillows, t-shirts, everything. Dollar store, Dollar Tree items. I was flipping that stuff. I did everything just to have time to develop all of this stuff and not work a job. It's been extremely hard. There's many, many days where, I cried myself, prayed myself to a crying point because, I was expecting God to deliver something that I had to go get myself. And so if I've ever like asked you for anything and you felt pressed or whatever, I apologize, but it's part of my process. I'm a salesman. I am an entrepreneur. You know, most of the greatest sales I've ever made, people told me no. Oh no, I'm not interested, and they spend $10,000. People, I understand psychology, so I understand. You're not in the position. You don't know about the brand. You didn't know anything about the brand. Now 6 months, bing, here. Uh, Go to the link, watch the videos, check it out. It's a lot to take in. I kept this a secret for 6 months, so it's a lot. Um, I'm just glad to be here. September 14th, 2021. I'm documenting everything from now on. Oh man.